what knowledge do you have about what's happening to us right now and where we're all going? Because it seems a bit nutty right now.
There are a inevitable events that will happen regardless. One
Hmm.
of them is a soul is going to wake up regardless to the other side and who they are. The soul is going to wake up. That is something that is fixed and it is 100% going to happen regardless.
Hmm.
So there are certain events even here that will play out and happen. One of these is the awakening again to who we are. That's something that's unfolding. In what you're seeing in that path of getting there is the destruction of all the illusions or the control systems that have been put in place to enslave humanity.
Hmm.
And that has to be exposed, because the closer you get to the source of truth and the light, the bigger the shadow becomes. And so the closer you get to it, you're going to see all of these chaotic things playing out. We're in the process of, and I hate to say it, that sounds tacky, the great awakening, but it's more of the great revealing and remembering of who we always were and what this place always was and the creation of it. And all of these things will come to fruition. This is going back to even the contact with races that have always been here, but have been suppressed. And you're getting this leaked information through whistleblowers, through the government agencies saying that certain extraterrestrial races are here. They're not necessarily extraterrestrial. They've always been here. The different races, the races that look like humans, not
Hmm.
humans. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a revealing of everything is where we are going. The steps to get there, I don't necessarily know how that unfolds, but I know that is the fixed event marker, the destination of where everything is revealed again.
Which makes sense because I mean, you and I having this conversation, and hundreds of thousands of people watching it sends a pretty big sign that there is a change. Where before something like this would maybe be seen by 5 or 10 people.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's it's just showing you exactly what you said. Is just showing you. For instance, you could be speaking the most divine truth of all things, but if people aren't in the consciousness, that state for receiving it, it's never going to be heard. So the simple fact that it's even being heard is showing you that the vast level of individuals within this realm, humanity,
Hmm.
is waking up to exactly what I just said, to the great
Hmm.
reveal of everything and remembering who they are.
When you're on the other side, have you been shown our past?
I was shown this, that this was a created playground, a created construct for the soul to have an experience of that which it is not on the other side. Because to experience what we are not also gives you a certain perceptual wisdom that could have never been birthed unless it was experienced. And you may ask yourself, people that hear me say that, well, why would I create all the pain and suffering? Well, when you create an experience, a collective experience to experience that which we are not, and something that has never been experienced before, you also create the unforeseen events. Because how could you know certain things would unfold, you see, if it was never
Hmm.
experienced?
He's talking about the hidden power players who manipulate the system to their advantage, tilting the scales to create an imbalanced world.
This is a thing when people die, they hold grief and pain. They say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or they're in pain that people die. You shouldn't be um, sad for death. Death should be celebrated, because you have no idea of how much joy and fulfillment the people that cross over permanently that they are having, because they're accessing the true state again. Let's just say the infinite of creation, whatever they think they can manifest and create and have their experience. They're communicating with all of their relatives, ones that haven't even incarnated here or went through this process. They're all
Hmm.
there.
It's amazing to think that we all have people who love us and are close to us, even if they haven't experienced this journey themselves. We have souls waiting for us, friends that we just can't remember at this moment. How exciting. And everybody has them.
So when you are there and you are experiencing and have the ability, your soul, ultimate authority, to create whatever it is that your soul wants to experience, you get bored and then you expand your experience and you create other things. And this is what we've created here to experience this. And this is where we're coming to you could say the conclusion.
Because it's happening now. And it's probably not like it's not really a time thing. It's more like a sequence of events, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're experiencing. So nobody could put a date on and when something's going to happen, because it just depends on the events that lead to that something.
Yeah, no, and that's how it was actually shown to me.
I don't have a set timeline for this completion, but it seems to be a completion of this game. Though I want to clarify, it's not the end for you. You live on forever. Imagine the other side as effortless and instantaneous, something that, from our current perspective, might be hard to grasp. You might begin to see why we chose to come here, to seek new experiences, expand our horizons, deepen our appreciation of love, and gain a greater understanding through contrast. The 12 realms will always be accessible, and after completing Realm 1, you'll be able to plug in and actively participate in Realms 2 to 12. Though most of us will go on to create our own worlds outside of the earthly construct entirely, based off experiences, some will return to the worlds we built for ourselves before we came here. While this round of the game in Realm 1 will eventually come to an end, you'll still have full access to its records, allowing you to revisit and experience them in a VR-like way. Think of Earth as an extended college experience, intense and meaningful while you're in it, yet just a brief chapter in the grand journey of your soul. In the vastness of eternity, this earthly game is a profound yet passing moment, a mere blip in our infinite existence, because we never end.
Reincarnation. Incarnation and death is only an event that happens here within this construct. When you're outside of this construct, on the other side, you don't need to be birthed or die in order to have an experience. So when people talk about past lives, they refer to past lives as reincarnation, coming in, incarnating, and dying. That's a very small part of your soul records, because it's only an event that happens here, and you haven't been here for all eternity. You've been here for a very short period.
The concept of the multiverse or parallel realities is something that is in the mainstream media and so on. What is your take on parallel realities and the multiverse in general?
So parallel realities are basically, when you think of parallel realities, you're accessing potentialities of time. Okay. That's essentially what's going on. Now, coming out of my body, I could see potentialities within my field of time events. And when you're viewing those, it looks like I'm physically doing something, or someone's physically there playing out this scenario.
Just to clarify, the dimensional spaces we've discussed in previous videos, those dreamlike bubbles that hold your thoughts, can be accessed, and when you peer into them from an out-of-body state, you may not immediately recognize what you're seeing. It might seem as though you're witnessing yourself in an alternate reality. However, it's not a different version of you in another reality. Rather, it's a glimpse of your future in this reality, shaped by your thoughts and desires.
Now, someone could be confused and say, oh, that's another version of that character playing and living that scenario to its conclusion. But no, it's just when you see splitting of parallel realities, what you're seeing is potentialities of time. And there's many potentials of time that could be accessed and seen. 2 weeks ago, I was on the couch shutting down my body, coming out of my body, and I was able to see out of my body someone come in, a potential time event before it happened. Someone come in, look at my body on the couch that I was sleeping on. And I was like, I'm looking at them from the out of body state, looking at my physical body and looking at this individual. I'm like, oh, you're going to come in and view my body soon. I pop back in my body, wake back up. 30 minutes later, that individual comes into the room, looks right over on the couch, looking at my body. So it's accessing the potentiality of time is what I'm trying to get at. And I'm giving you an example. There's many.
So that sounds like what psychics do, essentially. Psychics are able to see the potentiality of what is in the person's future that they're reading.
So it's all potentialities. Now, you brought up psychics accessing potentials as well within individual fields. Now, the thing is, this is what I'm talking about. The out of body state allows you to see it physically, like you're physically there viewing it You could interact with it. You could touch it, taste it, feel it. Other people's thought forms, your thought forms, you could interact with it. It's like, you're touching things, you're maneuvering the field, There's a field of energy. And now these potentialities, this field of energy is still there right now. We just can't see it. Now you could tap into that. Like I said, you could tap into that physically, consciously. Your soul could tap into that without even leaving the body and access prophetic visions, insights, downloads, you see? Because just because you're not out of your body doesn't mean that it's not there. All of these things are always here. Potentialities of time, thought forms. Right now, when you walk into a random house or a stranger, you automatically feel the field of that individual, whether if it's your hair stand up on your skin, you feel negativity, positive, you could feel it because automatically you're tapping into that field. You're accessing that field. And without seeing it, you're sensing it, you're feeling it. But in the out of body, you would be able to sense it, feel it, but actually observe what's in that field and actually see it physically. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
Let me know in the comments what you'd like to explore, whether it's his journey, the celebration, into the Bible with comparisons and contrasts, uncovering deception, angels, the 12 realms, or just a long flowing video of many topics. Your thoughts and curiosity help shape this space, so drop your suggestions and I'll make a note of them. Thank you for being here, and I truly appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks.